Alright, Shalom. Shalom. This is your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI, Bahashem, Bakak Badash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, in today's lesson, we're going to go into part 4 and the second coming of YAHAWASHI. Alright, the part 4 and the second coming of YAHAWASHI. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to start off today in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1, verse 14. And we're going to go down to the 18th verse. The great day of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahawashi, is near. It is near and hasted greatly. So it's right here. It's near. Because we already are at the beginning stages of World War III. So those of you that are watching, you can clearly see that these nations are, having meetings. They are mobilizing nuclear missiles, which are the ICBMs. Stands for Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles. Okay, so it's, things are already happening. The beginning stages. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So that's just saying that, like the mighty soldiers out here, they're going to be crying, bitterly. So it's like, when you're crying bitterly, that's because, that's, it's like you can't control it, because, these nations, and it's right here, it's talking about, mighty men, so how much more your average Joe Schmo, so like the mighty tough man in this world, whatever, the soldiers and stuff, the tough soldiers, they're gonna be crying there bitterly, because this world, you guys can't explain the power from another dimension. It's like a mystery. It's the unknown, because the people in this world don't know, so it's not so much something that you can't really fight against. Not only that, but you can't explain it, because it's power beyond people in this world's comprehension. It's beyond their understanding, because they can't even figure it out. See, it just leaves them speechless, and that's a terrible thing too, because like the unknown, it's that's frightening, because how can they defend against something that they don't understand? They can't even explain. See, because spiritual power is that's at a God level. See, it's something like like these cars, you have like a Dodge Charger, for instance. You have the regular model, and then sometimes when it's souped up, you have the like the Hellcat or the SRT8 or whatever they have. Yeah, but you can explain it, because you can say, oh, well, that car's souped up, but why? Oh, because it has a souped up engine. What I'm saying? It has the turbo kit. All right, but with spiritual power, it's because it's not something that's physical. It's not something that's physical. So it's completely unknown to this world. Even the Rothschilds, the head of the top Rothschilds, they're fascinated, because they know that they're the Edomites, but still they're fascinated with the ships, because they can't help it, because it's the unknown. It's because they're that magnificent, because the Rothschilds have the whole world in their hands, and they know that the so-called UFOs are not for them, but still they're interested in them, they're still, they're still like, the top. What's that dude's name? Evelyn Rothschild, Jacob Rothschild. They they're real fascinated with the ships, because it's just like it's like breathtaking, because they don't understand them, you know. So they're just like because they know that they're the Edomites, that there's no repentance for them, but still they're still like intrigued by the so-called UFOs, because it's like a mystery, it's non comprehensional, because people can't comprehend it, they can't understand it. See, with all the top teams in NASA, your Space Force, all these Freemasons out here, everything, everybody that you have out here, top leaders in China, India, okay, America, CIA, MI6, just naming some, KGB, stuff like that, top military intelligence, even astronauts, they can't explain it. They can report what they see, but the power of YAHAWASHI, it's unexplainable. See? So that's why it says the mighty man shall cry there bitterly, because imagine a force that is so powerful you can't even explain it, So imagine a force that right now, when people see the ships, yeah, they're like, oh man, they cloak, they disappear, reappear, stuff like that. Sometimes there's little ships coming out of a big spaceship. All right, well, imagine that, because it's different. So it's different right now because the ships are, just, cruising around, checking in stuff. But how much more in that day when these ships, the spaceships, so-called UFOs, which are known as the Chariots of Israel, how much more in that day are they, is it going to be terrifying, because those spaceships that they can't comprehend are going to be going head first towards our enemies, the Edomites and heathens. Imagine that. So something that they can't explain, that they go real fast and make, crazy maneuvers and all that. Yeah, that's just, imagine people are getting freaked out just by looking at it. Well, how much more in the day of war, when the angels get their green light and they're going straight towards the heathen. Imagine that. Imagine when the angels and the Lord are in war mode and they're coming straight at our enemies. They're using all that speed, all that unexplainable power, and coming straight for their heads. Imagine. That's why, because the way YAHAWASHI and the angels and the 144,000 are going to be putting our enemies to death out here is going to be beyond frightening. Because remember a power that's so powerful you can't explain. Yeah, but how much more when YAHAWASHI gets here and when that power is coming for you. Imagine. See? So it's it's a very great day, Verse 15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. Yeah, see? A day of wasteness. Because, yeah, the Lord's going to lay down these cities, these false churches, these false leaders, the false prophets. That's a major, because there's a lot of people out there that, lie to the masses just for some money, for a check. But that's all right, because everything that people do in this world, all right, they have to give account for, So, those of you out there that say, man, I can't believe, people are getting away with this stuff. They're not, all right? The Lord is just, the Lord's letting them add up their tab, you see? So, remember, those that are not covered by the Lord, everything that they're doing right now, it's just adding up, you know? So sometimes I know people in the world, you get, well, those of you in the truth, you get upset because you're like, damn, how can these people get away with this stuff? They're not, okay? The Lord just let them add up their tab, you know? So just, you know, chill out a little bit and know that, you know, yeah, they're not going nowhere, you see? A day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Right. So a day of clouds and thick darkness. Because the Lord, yeah, can bring storms, tornadoes, lightning, the spaceships, you know what I'm saying? Verse 16, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and the high towers. Yeah, because these kingdoms today, they don't have walls. Like back in the ancient world, you guys out there ever seen that movie Troy? All right, remember that movie Troy? They had like those high walls and stuff like that. All right, so this is what, you know, this is the Lord's gonna bring down their pride. All right, because yeah, these nations and leaders around the world right now, you know, they're still prideful, you know. So, you know, they think that they're like at a you know, they think that they're unstoppable, you know. So so the Lord's gonna bring down like their pride. Verse 17, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. So yeah, these bodies are just going to be laid out here. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So you can't bribe the Lord. You know, like people in this world, they get in trouble and stuff, so they get a lawyer or they kind of work it out. You can't do that with the Lord. You know, you can't bribe him. You can't, you know, offer him $1 billion. You know, once the Lord's coming at you, once, you know, the Lord calls your name, that's it, you know. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So a speedy riddance means, so fast is speedy, right? Speedy means like fast, speed. And then riddance means destruction. Because remember, the Lord's going to destroy enemies in 1 hour. Remember, because this power around the world, okay, it's unexplainable, you know. So how much more, you know, and how much more in that day, you know, is it going to be frightening? Because imagine imagine a power that's so powerful and nobody can even explain it. Yeah, well, how about in the day of war, when there's a power out there, a force out there that's so powerful that you know, you can't explain it, but it's coming at you, you know, in war mode, you know, full speed, full throttle, coming straight for you. Those of you that are not covered by the Lord, imagine that, because it's going to be a whole terrible day, you know. Yeah, you know, it's just like you know, like kind of like a big person, you know, and he's kind of like quiet or whatever, but you make that person upset, then you know you're gonna like, oh shit, you know. See, so it's different, you know, because right now people are just witnessing the ships. Yeah, but how much more when those ships, the spaceships, are coming straight for them? You know what I'm saying? You know? Yeah. Yeah, put that one on for size. Isaiah chapter 66, verse Verse 14 on down. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like a herb. So see this, meaning the elect. Those of you that believe in the Lord, when you see the Lord's arrival, you're going to be rejoicing, you know, because I myself too, Lord willing, you know, I can receive mercy from the Lord, and I'm part of that number, because that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for salvation, and we're hoping for mercy. So, you know, because the elect are going to be rejoicing because the Savior has arrived, you know. So when the elect see the ships, the elect are going to be smiling, you know, rejoicing like heck yeah, because those of you of the elect out there, you guys know what time it is. See, you guys are well aware of what's going on and what those ships are and who they're for. See, our enemies, on the other hand, are going to be wailing, getting zapped to powder, you know, and also getting hunted down. Yeah. And your bones shall flourish like a herb. And the hand of the Lord, that's YAHAWASHI, the right hand, who the world stubbornly calls Jesus Christ. You know, because he's actually coming down here, you know. He ain't just going to show himself like in the sky, like, oh, hey, you saw the Lord's face, you guys? No, he's coming down here, you know, 10 toes on the ground, just to deal with our enemies. Imagine? And he's going to hunt them down one by one, all the way to the Dukes of Edom. All the way to everybody's, because the Lord has, you know, like a list, you know, who he's going to kill and who he's going to save for slavery. Yeah. You know? So, you know, that's the Lord's deal. But those are the heathen Edomites. Just know that you are on the Lord's list, and it's not good. And the hand of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, shall be known towards his servants, and his indignation towards his enemies. Right. Because, once again, when the Lord gets here, you're not going to be scratching your head like, hey, honey, I wonder if the Lord is cool with that person, or I wonder if the Lord's mad at, you know, at that person. It's going to be known. So it's going to be clear, because there's only going to be one or the other things happening out here when the Lord arrives. So when the Lord arrives, remember, the elect, he's going to beam them up. All right. Also, those of you that die in the faith, okay, they have to go to concentration camps, you know, whatever. You know, sometimes people have illnesses and, you know, they pass on, but they're still in the faith. They're going to be risen first, all right, in those ships first. Yep. And then the angels and YAHAWASHI are going to go get the rest of the elect that's scattered around the world. All right. So the elect are going to be beamed up to safety, because it's going to be known. All right. So the elect is going to be beamed up to safety, and then the wicked are going to be destroyed. You know, getting zapped to powder, slain. You know, by YAHAWASHI, the angels, and the 144,000. Yep. Verse 15, for behold, the Lord YAHAWASHI will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. Yeah, so the Lord's coming with his chariots, spaceships, so-called UFOs, like a whirlwind. A whirlwind is a representation of destruction, you know? Yeah, it's like a tornado. You know, what happens when a tornado goes through a city? Don't worry, I'll wait. It just destroys, you know? And to render his anger with fury, anger. See, because the Lord's very upset with the wicked every day. So that scripture, John 3:16, the Lord, you know, loves the world, Okay, he's talking about the Israelites. All right, so a lot of people that say God's all love, well, right here it's representing fire, anger, whirlwind, destruction. See, so the Lord's mad at somebody, you know? It's just to show you that these wacky-tacky Christians, they're under a 501c3 charter, and they're not well learned, you know, because a lot of people, you know, in this world, you know, they just kind of, and not talking down on them, just making a, you know, a point on, because a lot of people kind of go to a church or a religion because it feels good. They're like, well, I like this church because it feels better, you know, everyone's cool, you know, the pastor's chill, they play music, everybody's happy, see? So a lot of people kind of go to churches because it's like the community church, you know, like, oh, it feels good here, you know? The kids can play, they get food, they play music, see? It's kind of like a hangout. I mean, that's fine, you know, that's, people feel good and stuff, and that's fine, but that don't mean that you're getting the truth, you know? That don't mean that that church giving you the facts. That just means that that place right there brings a little comfort, but that don't mean that that's, that church is giving you the 100% facts. But people just assume that means that they guess, because that person's a pastor or a preacher, you know, or what do you call it? You know, just because they have, you know, a nice garment, you know, they got the piano music playing in the background, they got the support from the community, they just automatically assume, oh, yep, that's the man of God right there. Shoot, a lot of these Catholic and Christian preachers been getting caught for pedophilia, you know? See, because not all of them, but just to show you that it's all smoke and mirrors, you know? It's all smoke and mirrors. So that just means that it's that these leaders and false preachers that are set up deceive the masses. That means that they trick you into believing a lie. See? So the leader of this world, they're going to have the masses, you know, because the masses are very gullible. You know, they don't ask questions, you know, they just see someone and they just automatically think, yep, that's the man of the Lord, without even testing them, you know. They just think because a man or woman has her credentials, they have their license, they have their certificate of compliance, which is just a piece of paper, they think, oh, yep, that person's legit. Yep, everything checks out, honey, that person's good, we're following them. See, but you haven't even tried them in the spirit yet. See, you just thought, okay, well, hey, the community likes him or her, you know, look at that. He's in a nice garment. Look at him. See, he's good to go. He checks out without even trying the spirit first. See, a lot of people believe in these leaders just because they're kind of like high in office. They have a suit and tie. So that's a lot of people just kind of assume that, you know, just by appearance from the outside, you know. So that's why a lot of people got deceived. Oh, hey, remember when these leaders made that, remember when the first pandemic happened and they had to give out those, you know, people had to take that, you know, the juicy juice, remember? All right, you know, the thing that rhymes with Maxine, all right, but it starts with a V, okay, remember? All right, so a lot of people were screwed, you know, because now, because how did the leaders come? Did they come to you saying, oh yeah, we're gonna put hydra cells in you, we're gonna put nanotech inside you? No, they came up to you like they always do, deceiving, serpent, because they came and say, well, if you take this juice, you know, you're not gonna get the you know, the you know what 19. See, so people, you know, were tricked. And now a lot of people, you know, because there's more people that took it that didn't take it. And now they have hydra cells in them. Hydra cells is a living organism. If you ever seen that movie Spider-Man or cartoon Spider-Man, remember his enemy Venom? Okay, that is hydrocele. Okay, remember how that it was like a black living organism, and it took over the body? That's hydrocele. It's a living organism that can only be destroyed by fire. Yeah, it's a real deal. And people have that inside their bodies right now, and their whole molecular structure is now altered. It means that all their DNA is being changed. Yeah. Yep. Because when these leaders turn on different frequencies, they can control you. And to have complete control of you, because you're all that nanotech and hydrocele is going through people's bodies, their organs, their DNA right now, as we speak. So what's going to be that final marker to give complete control is the chip. Once people take the chip, these leaders are going to have full control of people, literally like a RC car, just like that. You know how you control your TV? You turn it on, you change the channel, you press, you can turn the volume up or down. All right, it's going to be just like that, okay? Where these leaders are going to be able to control you. So they're not just going to tell you, all right, don't go. They actually can control you, like that much, all the way, where you won't even be able to, you won't be able to fight against it. You see? So that's why that chip is the mark of the beast, because that's the final pin in their new world order, the leaders. See? That's why the Lord is pushing that so heavy through his prophets. Don't take that chip. All right. Oh yeah. That juicy juice was a trial one. So if you are part of the hopeful elect and you took that, because some of you say, well, damn, I believe, but I took the jump shot. That's okay, because YAHAWASHI, the angels, and the 144,000 can use spiritual power and remove that from you. But the chip, it can't. That's the final draw. That's your final test. All right. So to those of you that believe, like let's say you took it, you didn't know, but now you're in the faith. Don't worry. It doesn't mean that you're going to be destroyed. Okay. You still can be saved from that. But the chip, which they're going to make mandatory, which is the mark of the beast, that's going to be the hour of temptation, because the whole world is going to be tried. All right. You can't be saved from that. All right, so let's get back on track here. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord YAHAWASHI will come with fire and with chariots, like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Many. See that? Because there's a lot more people that don't believe than them that do believe. So remember, when someone don't believe, okay, don't worry about it, because the Lord's telling you there's a lot more people that are not going to believe than those that believe. See? So, you don't really have to worry about that, That just means that that person don't believe. You don't have to get too upset. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes it may, bother you and stuff. You get upset like, damn. But just know that it's the Lord's will. It's the Lord's program. So, another thing, because remember, it's not up to you. And then another thing is that we're in the time of judgment right now. Yeah. So just remember that everybody that don't believe, they're not going anywhere. Okay? Nowhere. Verse 17. All right. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, and the mist, eating swine's flesh, meaning pork. All right. And the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, said the Lord. YAHAWASHI. So the 2/3 of our people, okay, they're going to be destroyed together with the Edomites and heathen. So the Lord is not, like butthurt when our people don't believe. The Lord and the angels, they're not going to feel a certain type of way because some of our people, they're joining forces with the so-called white man. All right, the Edomites, All right, not the so-called white man that believes in the Lord, because they're good people. There's a difference. Remember. All right, so those that don't believe, like let's say those that are sellouts, that are corrupt, like P. Diddy. Just giving you examples, because there's a lot of stuff out there. There's corrupt agents. We just gotta tell it like it is. There's good cop, bad cop. Just giving you an example, you see. All right, so those people who are corrupt, who go down that route, they're gonna be destroyed together with Esau. So that's right there, because they're gonna be consumed together. So that just tells you right there that that's no problem for the Lord, and the angels. Because if you go down that route, that's fine, but that just means death. That's what that means right there. Verse 18, for I know their works and their thoughts. See that? So the Lord even knows what you're thinking right now. Everybody on the world, in the world. Even those who are in those underground cities and those underground military bases. The Lord created everybody. He knows everybody's thoughts. Okay, the Lord is so strong. Just give an example. He don't even have to have the angels out here watching you. All right, but he just does. He has it set up that way. But the Lord knows so much that he don't even have to have the angels out here keeping tabs on you. All right, that's how he knows everybody. He created everybody. Imagine. Verse 18, for I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, which is clearly happening right now. Okay, people are making their final decisions. All right, because there's going to be there's a lot of spies, a lot of agents. You even have clones out there. Oh yeah, that are realistic. They don't look all like AI and like, oh yeah, the heck, like that person looks like robotic, with their eyes all twitching. No, they have real clones out there that have memory. They look just like, someone that you would see in the mall. All right, you have no idea. All right, because they're artificially grown, and that's real. Okay, they have memory, so you can't even, like let's say the elites took out somebody, all right, and replaced them with a clone. You can't even tell if you're in the world because they have memory. If you ask them like, all right, well, what'd you do for, remember my birthday? You can't test them like, okay, well, remember 10 years ago, when we went to Florida, do you remember what we ate? They'll answer it right there. Boom. Yeah, we ate ribs and we had a side of French fries, because they have memory too. Facts. They eat, they bleed. Yeah. That's power on the left-hand side. It's very real. So those of you that are part of these teams that are going to fight against the New World Order, watch out. It's there's real power out there. It's real. And these devils have clones set up everywhere. And people don't even know. But they're like super soldiers. They're clones on the left-hand side, and they don't look all, once again, they don't look all like, like those of you guys ever been to like the wax museum? So you can't look at them and say, oh, let me see if this person's artificial. Let me take a second look. No, they're that legit. Okay, and that's real talk. But so that's why the angels are going to intervene. So those of you that are covered by the Lord got you. But just an example, so those of you that are going to fight against the New World Order, just kind of, giving you guys a heads up, you know what I mean? Just letting you know, that they're out there and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Remember that. You know. That's Those are facts right there. So yeah, this it's gonna be a very terrible day once things happen. You know, with these because there's spies everywhere. So you're having people right now in teams that are actually changing their mind. Oh, remember that movie Matrix, the first one? If you guys ever saw it. Okay, so the first movie Matrix, remember when that bald dude, he betrays, the team in Matrix? Remember, because the guy gives him like steak and wine, the agent, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to remember none of this. But he betrayed them. Remember? Okay, so you have people like that right now. Like, let's say they're not necessarily like spies, but they're changing their minds. So you're gonna have a lot of betrayals in these days. You're gonna have people in teams where you thought they were cool. Some people are actually getting taken out by the left-hand side, getting cloned right now as we speak. Some people are actually just changing their minds. Like, you know what? I don't want to run with the Lord no more. I'm gonna go on the other side. Yeah, it's like that. It's just people are having change of hearts. But then once again, you have your professionals out there. You have your assassins, your hunters. You have your spies. Yeah, you have like real spies. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you have everybody here. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a bloodbath because there's a lot to consider. Because a lot of people think like, oh yeah, this whole team is trustworthy. How do you know? The left-hand side hasn't cloned some of them. Yeah, it's real, very real. That's why it's gonna be very real, where the angels have to intervene, because those of you that are not covered by the Lord, you won't really be able to tell. A lot of you out there don't even know that that's even going on right now. You see? All right. Verse 18. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 18. For I know their works and their thoughts, and it shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. Right, because YAHAWASHI is going to set up his kingdom right here on the planet Earth, because he already defeated Satan in this earth. Real quick example, okay? The so-called UFOs, all right, the prophets, okay? How come the wicked, even Satan, how come Satan himself, how come they can't destroy the prophets and the ships? It's just a quick example, quick and straight to the point. If the left-hand side is stronger than the right-hand side, how come they can't take down those ships when they enter the atmosphere? How come they can't just kill the prophets right now? Let's hear it. See? Because the right-hand side is stronger. It's because YAHAWASHI won. See, right now it's just prophecy has to fulfill, because it's part of prophecy that the wicked are going to have this little time right now to act a fool, cause chaos, because that's reserved for them. But that don't mean that the wicked won. See, that don't mean that Satan won. See? All right, that's why the left-hand side needs agents. That's why they need weapons. The right-hand side don't even need that. See? Why? Because the angels protect them. The right-hand side is stronger. Yeah, the left-hand side is the one right now. And they're getting taken out right now, too. The Lord's taking them out. Yep. Yeah. That's real talk right there. Remember, these elites, they're panicking. They're nervous because they know, like, damn. They know that it's, everybody on the left-hand side, they know it's only a matter of time before they die. It's only a matter of time, because once the right-hand side gets the green light, it's going to be a bloodbath out here. So the left-hand side, like the real, Illuminati, Skull and Bones, because they know, because a lot of them are full of pride, and they're going to fight to the end. But those who actually are considering it, they're like, damn, if we can't kill them right now, and they're just chilling, and they're not even trying to fight back, how much more when they do fight back? They know, like, damn, if we can't kill the right-hand side, and they're not even trying to fight back, imagine. They're like, well, imagine when they're actually coming at us. Exactly. Because so they know, those that are, like top witches and warlocks, the top assassins, yeah, they're mad, they still want to fight. They're going to give it their all to the last breath, yes. But they know in the back of their mind, like, damn, it's only a matter of time before they die. Yeah. So they, it's like walking on eggshells, because nobody knows when the Lord's going to strike. There's no spy that's up there in the fourth dimension saying, all right, hey, Yahawashi is going to strike this witch or this warlock at Thursday afternoon, nobody knows. See? So how can you defend against something that you don't even know? Because in war, it's all about intel. You see? So, let's see here. Yeah, it's all about knowing. It's all about knowing where your enemy's at and what he's up to. Intelligence. Because that's the game of war. Because if you know where your enemy's at and what he's planning, then you can defend it. You can go the opposite way. You can run from it. You can defend against it. And then if you know where he's at, then you can go on defensive, because you're like, hey, they're right here. That's why, like Trump, the United States, they found out where Iran had their nuclear facilities. They bombed the shit out of it. Remember? All right. So yeah, because they found out, all right, it's right here. So they sent in their jets or whatever, their bombers, and took it out. So remember, intel is major in war. So if they know where the enemy's at, then they can plan the attack. But if they know what the enemy's about to do, then they can defend. They could run. They can either say, all right, we're gonna have to fight. We can either fight, we can flee, we can hide. See? You know what I'm saying? So intel is very important. So that's why you have spies in Russia, China, Iran, America, because they're getting intel on each other. What's going on. See? So, but nobody has spies on the angels and the Lord. So they can't even defend themselves. They can try to prepare, but nobody knows what the Lord's thinking, or the angels, Yeah, because the Lord can tell an angel, all right, I want you to take out this team tonight. And nobody has a clue. See? So the left-hand side, those who are figuring it out, who are really studying, they know it's only a matter of time before they die. And there's nothing they can do. Yeah, they can fight, be mad. They may say, well, we're not going to go out quiet. Give a fuck, You don't care if you go out whistling. I don't care if you wear your tuxedo. The fact is, you all will die. That's why we're calm, because it's like Michael Myers, remember? That movie Michael Myers, Halloween? Because he never had to run after his enemies. He just walked with a knife, remember? Real calm. And it don't matter where that person he wanted to kill, he would always find them. Remember? Because Michael Myers wasn't never chasing them. Remember that movie Scream? He would be running. That's different. Michael Myers, he would just walk, because he already knew. He already knew, I'm going to kill that person. Remember, he would always take his time, and then people would be hiding in the kitchen and all that. Then he would just pop up in the window, because he knew where the enemy was, or wherever. He knew where the person was that he was trying to kill, So that's how the elect are. We don't have to run. We don't have to pay agents to follow them, because we know that nobody's leaving this planet, And the angels in Yahawashi is going to take out everybody except the few elites that the Lord wants for the first crops in slavery. But everybody else, remember, they ain't going anywhere. They ain't going nowhere. See? So the elect are walking out here like Michael Myers, because they know that our enemies are about to die. So they don't have to follow you. They don't have to have, group meetings and all that, like the left-hand side. Ain't got to do none of that. See? Why? Because Yahawashi won. The elect already got the victory. It's the left-hand side that has to scramble, do all these sacrifices. They're panicking. Have to team up, follow people. Why? Because they're scared. Because they know. They know, baby. See? It's just like that. Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord! Exclamation mark. Because, yeah, you know, you are, a lot of people think they know the Lord, but they don't. You know, a lot of these Christians say, oh, do you believe in Jesus Christ? And if the other person says yes, then they'll say, oh, well, that's it. You're saved already. That word saved means to be rescued. Okay? It means to be rescued. All right? Jacob's trouble. We're barely in the beginning of Jacob's trouble, where ICE barely began to deport people. You know? It's about to get real out here, you know, because the left-hand side, you know, those of you that are just coming to the faith, the left-hand side represents those who are satanic, okay? Those that go against the Lord of the Bible, all right? So they haven't even released their AI or their drones out here. Remember, because out here there's going to be, like for reals, there's going to be robotic dogs out here, Terminators, like androids. Yeah. You know, drones, killer drones. See? So it's about to get very hectic out here, you know? And those of you that are not covered by the Lord are going to have to go through all that. Yep. There's a lot right now happening. You know, China, the US, Russia, you know, they all have secret AI military robots. Yeah. That's why these leaders don't care. You know, not to put people down and just call you a retard, but when you protest, all right, these leaders don't care because they want to eliminate 6 billion people on the earth. See? So when people protest, that just makes the elite smile because they're like, yeah, they're whining. Hell yeah. We're giving them hell. Yeah, you know? See? But they don't care if you quit your job. Say, well, we're not going to go to work. We're going to strike. You think the elites give a shit? They'll replace you with an AI. You know? Just to show you that example. You know? Because remember, check it out. I want to show you something real fast here. All right? It's real simple, son. So, if, just to show you real quick, that the elites don't care. They don't even care about themselves. These elites of the world, they're preparing to fight God and the angels. So they don't give a crap what anybody says on the earth. Anybody? They don't care what China says. They don't care if you're a city worker. They don't care, you know, because they're pushing for the New World Order. You see? All right, so check it out. These people, they want to fight God, Yahweh and YAHAWASHI, and the angels. So you think they really care about what somebody says on this earth? You know what I'm saying? You know? So that right there is a prime example. Okay, that's a prime example. Why did I give you that example? Because these elites, they're prepared to fight Yahweh, YAHAWASHI, and the angels, you see? So you think they care about what a mortal has to say? No, they don't give a damn because they want their birthright and they want their blessing. They don't give a damn what anybody says, you know? But that's just going to lead to their destruction because right now how World War III is moving, mobilizing, you know, these ICE agents are already deporting people. All right, prophecy is already happening. All right, so the more these elites move, okay, the faster they sink. Because it's like having like a laundry list or like a grocery list. All right, so us on the right-hand side, all right, we're waiting for these things to happen. Because the sooner these things happen, the sooner these Edomites go into slavery. See? It's the Lord's game, you know, it's chess. It's not checkers. All right? So the more they do, the faster they go down. See that? And these top leaders, they they call it, they know that, so they're trying to hold on, You know? All right. How many of you guys ever seen that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay, so that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, what happened? Okay, so remember, they would have their, remember like their lifeline, or they would go like 50-50, right? Remember that? Because they go with their options. Because in that game show, they would try to win $1 million, right? Right? Okay, so what would happen is that once they got themselves cornered, once they had no answers no more, what happened? Okay, what happened when they couldn't answer that question? All right, they had only two options. They can go with like 50-50, or they would make a phone call, you know? See? All right, so they would have those two options, but that's it. So that's what the elites are doing right now, because they know that they're cornered. They know, like, damn, we're through. See? So they're using their lifeline. They're like, damn. See, like, well, what can we do? See? Because you don't think they're counting all the costs? Oh, hell yeah, they are. All right, so they're thinking, well, damn, if this is true, well, what can we do? So that's why they're waiting to like the last second, because they know once they implement that microchip, it's only a matter of time before the angels step out those ships. See? So they know, like, damn, well, what can we do? See? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's continue. Amos chapter 5, verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? Right. See, because a lot of people think that the Lord's name is Jesus. It's not. His name is YAHAWASHI. See? That the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Right. So it's going to be a very dark and gloomy day. Those of you that are not covered by the Lord, it's going to be a very terrible day. Verse 19. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. So this is that scripture right here that shows us that there's no escape. So if you escape from a lion, then a bear is going to meet you. If you escape from a bear, then a serpent is going to get you. You see? All right. So basically, if you escape from the famine, like let's say you have a lot of food stocked up and stuff, you're like, I don't care if the elites are going to starve out the people. I got a whole garage full of, food and water. Okay, well then the UN troops are going to get you. If you guys escape the UN troops, then the missiles are going to get you. If you escape the missiles, then the angels, the 144, and YAHAWASHI is going to get you. So there's no escape, basically. For those of you that are not covered by the Lord, there's no escape. Some of you are just going to last, a little bit longer than others. But other than that, no one's going to escape. No one's going to be like, hey, the Lord came with the angels and we got away. Nah. Okay, nobody's getting away. All right, so once you understand this, okay, it brings understanding to you. So you're rooted, you're gonna be unmovable because you're not gonna be too much like mad, because you're gonna understand that the wicked are going down. You're gonna be more patient because you're gonna know that this is the Lord's program and what's about to go down out here, because everything that the Lord has told us has happened, to the T. There's not one thing right now. People say, okay, the prophets are grumpy men. They shout, they have hate, whatever. But name one thing that the prophets had said that is happening, or that's gonna happen, that hasn't happened. See? All right, the RFID chip is about to be made mandatory. Okay, all these things are coming to pass. World War III, everything, the nuclear missiles. See, people used to laugh in the world. I remember about 5 years ago when we used to tell people, we're out there teaching, that that these leaders are gonna fire ICBMs at each other, people used to laugh and scoff, like, "Oh no, that would never happen." See? Now they see, now they see that these missiles are being mobilized. You know, they're moving around. See? You know, now it's like, oh shit. So that's the thing. Remember, it don't matter. It don't matter what our enemies say, because the Lord reigns supreme. All right. The prophecies are undefeated. Sure, people may say, well, they don't like the Lord. Some may not believe. Remember, that don't make a difference, because everything that the Lord is telling us is happening to the T. You know, it's on point. So it's not just like, okay, don't worry about other people, like just to throw it out there. The reason is right there, because has a non-believer or somebody who hates the Lord or hates the believers, okay, by their actions, by their beliefs, by their teams, are they able to change anything? Okay, are they able to change anything? See, they can't. I mean, although they say, yeah, our enemies say, yeah, I want them dead, this and that, can they do it? See, you know, by, you know, these top Edomites out there, all right, by their teams, can they stop, you know, YAHAWASHI and the ships from coming? Can they, you know, save Esau and give him like 2 more years in his kingdom? They can't. See? So by this, like, it makes you stable. You know what I'm saying? So by this, it makes you stable. So, you know, because you know that it don't matter if somebody hates you. It don't matter if somebody don't believe. It don't matter if someone's making fun of you. They're not going to change the course of prophecy. You know, the Lord's going to arrive. See, these Edomites and heathens are going down. Sure, they may lock you up, lock us up, you know, whatever, build cases, you know, whatever. The typical, you know. But the thing is, are they going to change the Lord's plans? Not at all. Just look at history. Okay, look at Nimrod. Nimrod and them, who was a Cushite. Okay, the Cushites right now, Cush, in this world right now, they are the so-called Ethiopians. Okay, that was Cush, Nimrod. They all came together for the Tower of Babel. What happened? Did they have a chance? No, the Lord destroyed them. Look at Pharaoh, his army. Okay, they all died. Sodom and Gomorrah. See? Just to show you, our enemies are about to get beat down. You just have to, when the Lord's doing things in His time. But you know that what's coming down the pipe. So that keeps you, you know, stable, you know? All right. Verse 20. Shall not the day of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it? Right. Okay. So, right there, it's going to be dark, very dark. See? No brightness in it. So right there is just another example to let you know, because war's not pretty. Okay, ask any veteran out there that fought in World War II, Vietnam, and that has survived. They're not even the same no more, you know, because war and all that, bloodshed, it does something to somebody. Because once you see someone get like stabbed to death, you know, you're walking over dead bodies, you know, you're fighting to survive in trenches, you know, you're surrounded by the enemy, you're scared, you're hungry, you know, it changes you. Because once you see people get brutally murdered to death, it does something to like your mind. See, so you know, that's what's coming. You know, it's just to not just like to say, oh, like just be scared, but just to kind of give you that example of just to give you that example of, you know, what, you know, of what's about to partake out here, you know, just to show you that right now, yeah, people are comfortable and stuff, but But soon, once people lose like their families, because these elites have what is it? These elites have the draconian laws, legislative, and executive orders, right? Okay, and what that does is it gives access to these troops, you know, to come in your house, separate your families. You know, the New World Order laws, they have all that, you know. So by people just denying the chip, it's not like the juicy juice. They're gonna be able to put people to death, and it's gonna be the law. See? So not only is, you know, World War III gonna be happening, where you're gonna have sleeper cells being activated, super soldiers. Okay, you're gonna have hard laws out here. Not just like, okay, you didn't do that. Okay, we're gonna give you a ticket. All right, you don't have the juicy juice. You can't work here no more. Nah, they're passing laws to put you to death. See, so people are gonna be real afraid out here because America has been living lavishly. See, so imagine when you just see people like getting their heads chopped off. You know, getting because there's gonna be public executions. They're bringing that. You know, Trump is trying to pass and he will. All right, group executions where they're gonna put people to death by groups. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, and that will happen. By the way. All right. It's only when the elites try to do things outside the Lord's plan is when they get jacked up and when it don't work. But if they do things according to what's written, then yeah, they can do it, you know? So with that, that's it on part 4 on the second coming of YAHAWASHI. So repent, for the kingdom's at hand. On your feet, soldier. Shalom.